Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Good evening, everyone. I'm D. Joko, and welcome to our May 2024 Human Rights and Inclusion Committee. Uh, we'll start by having Bill Graham read the Native Land Acknowledgement.
In keeping with our values of equity and inclusion, and to support those who experience marginalization, this evening's meeting will begin with the Native American Land Acknowledgement. We acknowledge that this meeting is taking place on the ancestral homelands of the Naumkeag and Agawam peoples. Historical evidence shows that the Naumkeag and Agawam were peaceful in their relationship with European settlers. However, their population depleted rapidly due to smallpox and other pandemic Old World diseases unknowingly introduced by earlier European colonizers to the East Coast. To honor the Naumkeag and Agawam communities, along with other indigenous peoples who inhabited these lands now known as Danvers, Mass., and who may be lost to history, let us take a moment to recognize the past, present, and future of indigenous peoples, and reflect on our roles within settler colonization. We acknowledge these ancestral grounds we have collectively gathered upon and support the resilience and strength that indigenous peoples have shown worldwide.
Thank you very much. I'll now move on to the next item of the agenda, which is the approval of the minutes. We do have 2 minutes to approve. The first one will be the minutes from April 18, 2024. We'll do that first. I'll need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
The motion has been seconded. Any discussions? Those minutes were sent with the agenda. Here none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. I'll now move on for the approval of the minutes of the meeting from May 3rd, 2024.
So moved.
Okay. Moved by Jorge. Need a second.
Second.
Second by Bill. Any discussion? Here none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you very much. The next item will be citizen queries, brief questions, or if there's anyone in the audience who has a comment, questions. Here none. Next one will be the DEI report. Jasmine. Oh no, apologies. We actually need to do the liaison update. Lieutenant Bob.
Thank you, Dee. I believe it was yesterday, Chief Level, Captain Sanborn, and I were able to attend the ADL New England's annual Law and Education Day. It's my 3rd year, I think, going now. It's an excellent presentation they put together every year. We were guests of the Danvers School Department, the Superintendent's Office, and some of the school leadership brought us along again. And this year, they presented all the attendees with ADL's work on school and sports bias for how to prevent bias incidents and best practices and resources for athletic directors, coaches, and school administrators. So it was a very informative day, and we're glad to be able to attend.
Thank you very much. Any questions, comments? Here none. I know we don't have anyone from the school committee here today. They're also going through some restructuring of their leadership. But I would like to mention that there were 2 new school committee members elected, Sean Doherty and Michael Shannon. So congratulations to both of them. And also Gabe Loebs, who is one of the liaison to the HRC, is now the school committee chair. So kudos to Gabe for that. If anyone has not watched the school committee meeting from last Monday, I would encourage you to see it on DCAT. It was a great meeting, and I was really proud to be one more time to be a resident of Danvers. I mean, the kids from the middle school and the high school and the advocacy that they were doing about some of the programming that they want to see within the school was incredible. They were so well spoken, they were passionate, and you know, you can truly tell that there's a lot of great things happening. So just want to elevate that. If you haven't seen it, please take a look. It was really great. Next item on the agenda will be DEI report out. Yashmin?
Thank you. So last month, I failed to celebrate the birthday, if you will, of the Equity and Inclusion Department, but this department has now been in existence for 2 years. And I say that less about me and the department, but more so to kind of mark the progress that our community has made in the last 2 years. And I'm really grateful for all of the progress and collaboration that I've seen. I know there's a lot of work ahead, but it's exciting to see us moving in the right direction. And I really wanted to underscore, right, that this position exists because of the community. The momentum that led to the creation of that position has not stopped. That momentum exists independent of me and my department, even though we work together. And I know that momentum in the community isn't going to stop until Danvers is a place that everyone is proud of and feels like they are welcomed and belonged. So I'm really grateful to everyone who takes that seriously about turning this into an incredible home for everyone, and who really carry that torch. So again, I just wanted to mark that because there's been just some incredible work done, and I'm really excited for what else we can do together. On another note, I wanted to elevate an upcoming event on Sunday, June 9th, from 10 to 12 in the morning. And Thorpe School Veterans Field, we're gonna have a bubble day, which is as fun as it sounds, but the Danvers Public Schools and Recreation are working together to put on this fundraising event for the communication boards that they're hoping to implement in all playgrounds in the Danvers community. And for those who aren't familiar, these communication boards are just an alternative for our young people who frequent these playgrounds who might have different styles of communicating, to really embrace the neurodiversity in the community and our youth. And so they're gonna have this event with bubble machines, bubble pools, bubble house, bubble painting, pretty much everything you can do with bubbles. And they're really intending it to be sensory friendly for kids. And so there's gonna be music and everyone is welcome, all abilities are welcome. And colorful rainbow clothing encouraged. So that's one really exciting thing that's coming up. I also just wanted to highlight, it is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and one of the things that we're doing, particularly in Town Hall for employee engagement, you might notice in some of the hallways, we have an activity where you can align the name and face of a leader, an Asian American Pacific Islander leader, with their contributions to society. So we have an astronaut in there, we have a civil rights activist, we have a disability justice advocate, we have a wrestler turned philanthropist in there. So just something to engage in, and again, that those small bites of education are always helpful. The last piece I just wanted to share is I reported last month that I was headed to the multilingual family night at the high school. And I'll get there in a second. Yeah.
I'm in a meeting, I'll have to call you back, okay? Yeah, okay, bye-bye.
And
All
so this night was an opportunity, particularly for the students with the emergency assistance families, to step foot into the high school, to look around, get tours, have their families with our interpreters learn more about how to use some of the portals and parent communications. And I really want to commend the work of everyone who put that event together. It was very thoughtful, the food was great. The students came and they helped their parents with some of the platforms, but then they also were just playing games on the side, so that was fun to give them those middle schoolers that inside glimpse into what awaits in high school. On a related note, I also had the pleasure of visiting Mrs. Hartley, her ELL class. She's one of our English language learning teachers at the middle school. And I just wanted to take a moment to celebrate some of these young people. They're coming from countries like the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Venezuela. They're coming in speaking English, Spanish, Haitian Creole, Portuguese. They are vibrant young people, and they talked about they want to be soccer players, pediatricians, and psychologists. So just seeing students, all of the work that they've put in the last academic year as they just kind of jumped into this community, and seeing them already thinking about what their futures can look like is always a beautiful and also humbling experience. So I can't, again, commend our schools enough for the work that they're putting in to make sure that these students have that same incredible Danvers Public School experience.
Thank you very much. That's great. Any questions or comments? Yeah, no? Okay.
Great.
Wow, awesome. Okay.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, yes, I want to make a comment.
Yes.
Not directly on what Jazz was talking about, but the progress I think we've made in Danvers, partially, or much of it through your efforts in holding our feet to the fire and keeping us active. But 20, 30 years ago, would a black man have even considered running for selectman in this town? And the beginning of this month, D. Joko came within 31 votes of topping the ticket. So I think we're making a lot of progress. I'm proud of the people of Danvers, and we've got our work still ahead of us in many directions, but I think we're making some great progress, and I'm proud to live in Danvers.
Thank you.
I'm proud of Dee's election.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Yeah, no. Thank you, Dee. Next one will be Sherpa. Any update from the Massachusetts Human Rights Commission?
Yes, there are a couple of things. So there's been an inquiry about guidance for handling online hate speech. And so they're putting together a document to share out from other people who've had similar experiences. So I'm going to be following that. And once we have the document together, I can share that out with the committee. The other thing is the Network for Social Justice in Winchester is seeking an experienced social justice advocate to serve as their executive director. And this would be someone with community education and advocacy as well as fundraising experience. And I can send out the information or additional details on that. The other thing is to highlight an event happening. So the Tri-Town Human Rights Coalition, which is made up of Topsfield, Middleton, and Boxford, they're having their Pride celebration on June 2nd, which is the day after ours. It's at 1 p.m., and the parade will start at 1 p.m. It goes through downtown Topsfield, and then it ends at the town common, and they will have food and entertainment, and they've been doing it for a couple of years, and it's amazing. So if anybody would like to go, June 2nd, 1 p.m. Starts in downtown Topsfield. And that's about what I have for MAHRC.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Yeah, none? Okay, the MLK main update and layout. Paul and then David. Paul was at the school committee.
Yes, I
and
was at
David was at the select board.
I was at the school committee, and I thought it went very well. I talked a little bit about how it was created. And I believe some of the children in the audience were involved with it. Mm-hmm. And when we displayed it, and then the school committee and the superintendent are very willing to display it, I believe, right from any point we can get it to them till the end of the school year. So that should not be a problem. I had not seen the banner, I don't believe, no. And then when we opened it up, it was just stunning. And we opened it up in front of the superintendent and the school committee, and then turned it around so the folks in the audience could see it. And they were really pleased with it. I believe it went over very well. So I explained to them, as David did a couple nights before, what we're going to do as far as moving it around, setting a schedule, et cetera, et cetera. That's one thing we'll probably have to do in the summer, not the summer, but maybe in the summer, but through Zoom or on, however we can do it. Okay, that's it, but it went over very well.
Thank you. Yes, David?
And ditto, I think, on the reception by the selectmen. They seem very interested and supportive of what we're trying to do, and I think they like the poster as well. And I was just very pleased with the result.
Thank you.
A lot of hard work by a lot of kids and the people of the school department. Very pleased.
So, do we then, we decide how we wanna display it, like where it goes when? I know we had talked about having it with the school first. So we probably have to come up with a schedule.
I thought there was a tentative schedule included, at least in what I read to the selectmen.
Okay, there was.
But again, I think it's going to be probably at the discretion of the selectmen and our school committee, you know, depending what departments it's in, but as long as we can get it moved around from one department to another, so the public gets to see it. That's the purpose of it.
So do we keep it for weeks or a month?
Right. So I would suggest that as we create a schedule, like we begin with the schools that are in session until they're not in session, and then pick up with schools again in the fall. And then in between, over those summer months, kind of move through town hall. I don't know if we keep it through all the departments in town hall and then move to another building, or if we kind of move it in and out of town hall. Lieutenant Sullivan had kindly offered the, I don't know what the term would be, the movers, the moving assistants of the police department between locations. So I don't know if you, that was a very open-hearted offer, as your offers usually are. So I'm not sure if it matters to you, whether kind of you're going to move it wherever it needs to be moved. So
You tell me where it needs to be, we'll get it there.
okay,
Wherever it
okay.
needs to be.
Okay, I would suggest that we not keep it within a building just for the sake of ease, since the department has so generously offered to move it. So I think if we begin to contact Reverend Douglas, others in other, there could be a couple of us that work on this. So just sort of plot out a list and then kind of look at how many places that is, and then figure out kind of what the duration is in a location. And Jasmine and I had also spoken about that when the banner is hanging, that it hang with a QR code that could be scanned, so that there's some context for what this is, where it came from, what it's doing here, and also include some questions for furthering conversation between people in that space, so that we can continue to have conversations about how those of us in the community are moving like King. So one thing I will just name is that as we identify a location for it to be, I think it would be prudent to have a contact person, because one of the things we'd also like to capture from that space is kind of some of the stories that come out and the conversations that come out of that space. But I think it makes the most sense for somebody in that space to be kind of owning that with us and having them partner with the committee on that. So those are some thoughts.
Yes. So I know we had a tentative list of spaces after the last meeting. I think it was town hall, fire, police, library.
Schools.
I'm looking at it.
Oh, you are, okay.
I mean, I don't know if you want me to actually list them all, but there are approximately 13 locations on this list. And so in terms of, we have two locations in town hall. We have senior center, the library, police, fire. We had tentative 2 church spaces, wanting to reach out to Maple Street and UU. With all of the schools in our public school district, that adds another 7 of them. but we did put down a couple of the private schools to potentially reach out to. And then beyond that, it's identifying businesses. So again, this list generated is like about 13 as it is. So in terms of throwing out possibilities for frequency, maybe something, if we're, do we have an end point in mind? Like, is this like the goal would be to rotate it up until next year's MLK event, in which case we could do some story sharing around it? Is the intent that we want to prioritize having it in a particular space for a particular length of time, in which case it's like, we want to have this at each of these events for a month, so we will go on as long as it takes? These are just questions I'm posing to you all to consider.
What do we think? I think until next year's MLK will be, I don't know the life expectancy of this, and it's probably gonna fade up. It's probably gonna fade at some point.
I mean, if
No?
it's
Yes?
inside, if it's
Okay.
inside, it should be fine,
Okay.
which it will be.
So do we wanna consider having that until the next year? Yes, Paul?
A couple of things regarding the banner. How are we going to hang it, or are we going to tape it? Because you can take it, I think we could have someone put, what do you?
Grommets.
Grommets.
Yeah, that's the word. They always tell me when I bring ours down, but something like that, but I don't know how it would hang in front of here, because there's nothing to hook on, you see what I mean? But we could have them available for those that have the facilities to hang things, that's number one, and I'm not so sure. We could check into this, I don't know too much about it, but there might be a way to preserve that over a longer period of time. Because it is painting. I've never worked in that medium. I don't know, is that oil or was it watercolor?
I don't know,
Or
but
cor-
right now I'm really impressed with you talking about art, so, sorry. Just as an aside, I'm like loving this side of you, Paul, I didn't know.
There's a lot you don't know, but tell them, Shelby. So anyway,
One of those.
yeah, anyway, that's something I think we want to think about, and we have to, if we don't take action, then we're gonna be in a situation where we'll lose it too fast. And, we don't want to do that, because it's such great work.
Could I propose, because now that I'm thinking about it as it sits in my office, it does not have holes or anything like that, but I do think perhaps the most helpful thought partners in it, if there's a way to reconnect with the art teachers, just to get some ideas around what that could look like, and then also deciding, I feel like with our relationship with the schools, if we say, hey, we want this hung, they're like, yeah, fine, no problem. But then if we're bringing it to a business or someone we're less familiar with, we might need to then be like, hey, we're gonna provide you with the string, or I don't know, whatever, the way Paul phrased it, our expert over here. But I think, so that could be a possibility of connecting with those art teachers who will know best about the preservation of the color and the potentials for maintaining it, moving around the community.
I think that's the best, I agree, I think we should just try to get it over to the art department, particularly the young, Mr. Surratt, I believe is the gentleman that. High school, and we can do that, I'll be willing to take it over and make an appointment and see him after school ends on any day. What are our options? Okay, so, I'll take care of that, I will call the office over there.
Sounds good, thank you. Yes, Lieutenant Law?
So there's a number of different companies that make, it's like double-sided sticky tape. It would work on the back of canvas, and it would work on the paint here, and when you take it off, it won't damage the painted wall, and it also shouldn't damage the back of the canvas wouldn't be painted, so it wouldn't damage the paint.
So, yes,
We might also want to think about getting some good quality photography of it. So if it should ever get damaged or faded, I'm sure we could reproduce it at somebody that makes banners. Like the place down the street here, Sinorama does that kind of work. I assume they could do that.
I do have the original JPEG, like picture file.
Okay, good.
Yep,
All right.
so that's, and I've sent it in emails to other people, so it's in more than one place.
I have my 2 cents, although I'm sitting here quietly writing, but on election day, maybe it could be in the field house. That's a good traffic spot for the people in the community to
We need to get Michelle a mic.
Yeah.
Really? Well, you don't.
Yes, sure.
Do we know where it will live after it does the tour? Is it going to have a permanent place? Because I'd rather not it be rolled back up and put away, but have it be on permanent display somewhere. So have we thought about that?
I think it's permanently moved. I mean, there's always someplace we could find a library could handle it, and if there's an off time, but we've already talked about probably more than a dozen, easily more than a dozen, and I would venture that we'll get closer to 18. That if you start to bring in the businesses, if they're interested in things like that, I think it's going to take up a lot of time. It'll move throughout and then it'll start rotating the next year.
I mean, I'd really love to, like, see people asking for it.
Yeah.
Like, I would love McKinnon's to say, we want this, right? And it's like up, so I'm just putting that out there, and maybe, the universe will pick that up. But, no, I appreciate, like, I think it could, and if it cycles through and we go back to the beginning, so it could just, I was thinking when you said 13, if it hung for 2 weeks, that's 26, which is half a year right there. So, yeah, so we'll see.
Good. I think you should, one of your final meeting, appoint another subcommittee.
We're so good at that.
If you're going to put grommets on it, you ought to do it right away,
Yeah.
before it goes to any place else.
I'll call the schools
So
tomorrow.
the plan is, we check with the school and the art teacher. I will start by the schools. And then what? I just want to make sure we have a plan.
Well, I'll report back very quickly and see what they can do. They might be able to help with the grommets or make a suggestion.
Yeah.
Right off the top, but if you ask me, could we get this done, I would take it right down to where we have the banner done and see what they can do. They can turn things around quickly. But let's just see what the schools say.
And then after that, it will hang in the school. And after, when the school is out, we'll bring it back to town hall, and maybe 2 weeks.
We could move it to fire, police, library, a lot of activities going on during the summer.
In the summer. So can we ask, like, one person who's willing to take this, like, starter pack list and build it out and propose an order? Can someone do that on their own time? Because we're talking about the order right now, but I'm like, if we don't get it down on
Yes.
paper, we're gonna keep.
I'm going to
talking
work
about
with Paul on this. We're going to, yeah.
It's my day, I guess. Huh?
I'm gonna,
I
yes, so
guess.
I will work on the calendar, and Paul's going to figure out how we're displaying it or options to do that.
Right.
And we'll be in touch with Lieutenant Sullivan for the transport. And I think maybe, Jasmine, your help could be useful in some, like, identifying contact people, to be the contact people in each place it's going to hang. Perfect.
Also, I wanted to add, it would have been nice if Danvers had a museum where it could live
Oh,
after.
I didn't know that.
But, maybe there
Okay.
are museums that would,
Oh.
after we're done
I
circulating it
thought
around
they
the
could
town,
put the
that would want
grommets
to
in for
display
us,
it.
but,
Maybe.
okay.
Yeah, the closest I could think
the
of
PBS
is, I wasn't thinking museum, but in terms of preserving it long-term, I was thinking library archives.
That's
But that's more of like, it's not the same as a museum where you would go to view it, but in
Correct.
terms of the long-term preservation. Oh, yeah.
Tapley Hall has.
Or the Danvers Historical Society.
I was also wondering about that too.
Perfect. This is great. Thank you so much. Any other questions, comments about the dinner? So we have a plan. Next is gonna be Pride event updates. Shilpa.
We're getting close. So we have our Pride event on June 1st, which is a Saturday. It's from 12 to 3 p.m. So we're looking at from 12 to about 12:45, we have the flag raising in Town Hall. We have a keynote speaker lined up, and we also have a couple of high school students who will be present for the flag raising. And then we'll move over to the lawn behind the library, and that's where our celebration will be from about 1 to 3. If it rains, we do have an alternative location, which will be the Maple Street Congregational Church. We will move it there. So that's our rain date location. It's on the same day, but different location.
Was the flag raising at noontime?
The flag
Okay.
raising is at noon, yeah.
Thank you.
For the food, we have Butter Your Biscuit from Beverly. The food truck will be here, so we're really excited. It's a different food truck this year. They'll be providing the food this year, which will be a lot of fun. We also have Drag Queen Story Time. We have a DJ this year we're really excited about. And one of the things I'm really excited about this year is our Artist Alley, which I thought would be a great idea to amplify our local queer artists. So we have a zinester who's going to be here. We also have someone who does art and stickers. So we're going to have that as well. So that's really exciting. That's one of my favorite things. And what else? I want to shout out our community volunteers, without whom we could not have done this. So Lieutenant Sullivan, always thank you so much for everything you do. There's Reverend Caro from the North Shore UU, who's been amazing. We have Linda and Dick Donovan, who are fantastic. They're fundraising, they're bringing snacks, they're amazing. Who else? And Gabrielle Montewecchi, yeah, she also has been amazing and got us vendors, and it will be setting up the raffle, and they're amazing. I really don't think we could have done this without our community volunteers, so we're very thankful for them being there, and I'm really excited for Pride. So it's coming close. We also would like some volunteers to help set up and clean up. So if there's anybody on the committee who would like to let me know if they will be there. So we're looking at setting up around 11:30 on the lawn. I don't think there's much set up to do. Everything will be set up at Town Hall. Is that correct? Already. So what we'll need is help to set up on the lawn. If anyone can lend your time, yes, Michelle.
And you're going to let me know about voter registration table?
Yes, we already have you down for the voter registration table.
okay.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
So then I would have to obtain a table, or they'd be
No, we will provide you a table. Yeah, yeah, we'll provide you a table, and you bring whatever you need to set up.
First.
The other issue we have is we have a lot of checks to deposit, and we want to know who will be that point person on the committee to deposit those checks, because we have a lot of them.
Well, anyone can really deposit a check. We just wait. What bank do we use again? This is for the friends.
Yes,
North
use
Shore
North
Bank.
Shore?
North Shore
Anyone
Bank.
can deposit, but if I could have you that.
all right. And is there an alternative person in case you're busy?
David
Okay, all right.
or Paul.
Paul,
Charlie, yeah, I mean, we've got enough guys, enough.
we just passing the parcel?
So there's four athletes. It's David, Paul, Dr. Charlie. Any one of them can deposit.
Okay, all right, that's good to know, but that's our update.
I also just want to add to that, we have also the Pride flag raising at the police department.
Right.
is
Oh,
going
yes.
to be. So
On
in
the
case you
6th,
can't join us on the weekend, the party don't stop. So the police department the following Thursday on June 6th at 5:30 p.m. Will have their annual flag raising as well. So we definitely want to see that, and we're hoping if there's any swag left over, some of it might find its way. So don't miss out on that either.
Yeah,
That was at 5:30?
yeah,
Thank you.
on Thursday, the following Thursday.
That's the award ceremony down at the high school that same evening.
Wednesday, I believe.
I've got it down as Thursday, but I could be wrong.
June 6th or June 5th?
6th, okay.
It starts at 6:30, right?
I'm not sure what time it starts. 6:30?
Or
Okay,
6:30, yeah. So we've been done by then. All right. Any other questions or comments? Here none. Okay, the next item on the agenda.
I'm just confirming that's correct. 6 PM, DHS Auditorium, June 6th, for the scholarship, for the award ceremony, excuse me. So I just want to make sure we have that on record. But that's plenty of time. The police department, that flag, there's no speaker really, but there's just someone raising it. So you go in, pop the flag up, take some swag. Eat some cookies.
I'm glad you bring up the award ceremony. Do we know who is gonna be giving the award? I know during our May 3rd meeting, some folks needed to confirm the time before they can commit to it. We need one or two people to go down to the high school and give the award. It's a great event. I mean, I go every year, really moving, truly inspiring to hear about some of the things our students are doing. If you can, I will really encourage you to go. But we will need someone to represent the committee. And it's very.
I will be there that evening because I'm giving
Yes,
some
you-
awards for the Historical Society.
Historical Society.
I can do it.
Okay, Shilpa.
Yeah.
I'll be there also.
Okay.
I'd be delighted to go with Shilpa.
Okay, perfect. So we'll have Chopin and Karen. So what will happen is you'll have the check written to the students who are receiving the scholarship. And usually you can make a comment, you just want to be short. Sometimes it's a lot of people and a lot of scholarships.
There's a lot of scholarships that
So
night.
usually you just want to, thank the students and for what they've done.
Keep it short.
So if you make it short, they'll be happy. I've never seen anyone getting the mic taken away, but you want to be short.
Don't be the first.
I've seen people look sleepy in the audience, though.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for reminding us of that. That's all?
Yeah, before, I just wanted to clarify really quick, because I know that Shilpa had floated it, but it might be helpful if there's anyone who knows now if they can help volunteer day of. And I'm thinking particularly, were you planning to run the HRIC table? No, right?
No, so
So
if,
we
yeah,
won't do- so
we
if-
would love someone to sit, because it will be difficult for me to run the table. So if anyone wants to sit at the HRIC table on the day of the Pride event, let me know. Right now, if you can, we'll be
Is anyone
helpful.
available to commit right now?
As long
Paul?
as there's a chair.
Yes,
I
Paul,
can
there will
sit.
be a chair.
Paul's
Yeah.
at 5.
I can
Yeah.
help to set up that day.
Yeah, okay, awesome.
There'll be
Thanks,
enough
Johan.
of us to just take turns
Yeah,
Okay,
there.
Sure.
Yeah.
that's great. Thanks, Bill.
Just want to save Shilpa an email. So up next, we have our Race Amity Multicultural Festival happening again this year. If you recall, last year we were tapped to host this for the North Shore, and then they want to bring it back again. So this is going to be in July. July 13th right now is the date, and it's going to be from 1 to 3 p.m. And we're hoping to have it take place at the 97 Elm Street, Danvers Street parking lot. So right at this kind of, what is it, like a 5-way intersection over here, in that very visible lot at that intersection. And this is a partnership that we do with Heathmere Center for Cultural Engagement out of Beverly. They've been fantastic partners. And this is really just a chance to celebrate cross-racial friendships, celebrate a multicultural community, and it's about elevating kindness, respect, and civility. So we're looking to have a combination, again, of youth performance, an interview with between a cross-racial friendship, a dance lesson. So we're hoping to bring back the fantastic Afrobeats dance instructor from the Black Excellence event. We're looking into a Greek band. We're hoping to get some pocket jazz from our students at the high school. And so just another fun summer event taking place. So that's currently where we're at, and we are meeting again. The planning team is meeting again on Monday, but of course we still have some time, so we're really excited for that, but that's kind of back burner after we get through Pride and Juneteenth.
Do you have a question in the audience?
Yes?
Just an easy one. How much room do you take up in that parking lot? 2 school buses plus several other pieces of equipment. That in, how much of the parking lot do you need? Someone might have to ask the bus drivers to park someplace else.
Is this on the weekends they usually park there?
Park them at night, they wake me up in the morning, so I know that they
Mr. Bradstreet, that's a fantastic point. This is a newer people have said that they used to do the farmer's market. I obviously wasn't here and didn't see it, but I'm gonna make a note of that to make sure there is room, because I don't know. So I appreciate that. Keeping me on my toes as always.
Thanks, Bill.
Any other questions? Here none? Okay. Second to last item on the agenda, entering chair vote. So as David has alluded to, I'm gonna be transitioning out of my chairmanship for this committee. And we will need a new chair. So we thought, because we having reappointments in June for new existing committee members and potentially new ones, we thought we could have an interim chair to run the June meeting and work on the transition as we go through the form to have a permanent chair. So we need someone to run the meeting next month and help with the transition as we onboard new members. So very specific task. It's not a heavy lift, but it's something that we need to do. So
Charlie, I'm looking at you.
I will need some nominations, and we can. Oh yeah, I'm being reminded that I have to take questions. Any questions or comments about this proposal?
Does the person that runs the next meeting have anything to do with who ultimately is the chair, or is that person just assisting for that one meeting?
They'll be assisting for one meeting, but they'll also be working on the transition to the new chair, welcoming new members as they get appointed or reappointed. Because we usually don't meet in July, right, Paul?
Or August.
Or
July or
August. So
You have the choice.
July and August.
I mean, we
So you
could
could.
meet if we wanted to, but
Last
in
year,
the past,
last year
we
we
would
said
take-
in an emergency.
yes, if there's an emergency, obviously we can always call in a meeting, in which case the interim chair will call one. But typically we meet in June, then we take July and August off, and then we will convene in September and get right into the thick of things again.
And if I may clarify as well what that looks like in terms of the transition for that September meeting, if anyone saw how quickly and seamlessly it happened for school committee, like the interim chair just comes in and the first item on the agenda would be to vote for the permanent chair, just to be really clear about that transition.
And being interim chair doesn't take you away from being a permanent chair, so it's just the decision of this group.
Would the committee, what the committee has done in the past, regardless of this situation, a little different, but we would, if we wanted to vote for a new chair, we would always do it at the last meeting, which is the June meeting. And then you'd have the 2 months off, but, again, is that what you will consider for the new chair? Again, I mean, for the interim chair?
If that could happen,
Yeah.
that would be a decision of this committee.
I mean, you got a month to think about it.
Just to give perspective, as like the holder of the information, because we still have so this is Dutrichet's last meeting, right? No one's saying that out loud, but like, this is his last meeting for the interim. We don't know, we might see him again, he'll pop up just to make sure we're doing what we're supposed to be.
Right in that chair over there.
Maybe, or, we might need a break. But we still will have 2 vacancies, and so I do think this proposal of having that interim chair gives us time to also fill those vacancies. and then make that transition. I don't know if it's up to you all, but just thinking about structurally how the focus behind the scenes right now, in my mind, has been filling those vacancies. It might give you a little more time if we name this interim, give yourselves the summer to maybe even regroup and use this as a transitional time to think about, is there other work that the committee hasn't been doing that you'd want to be doing? Do we want to be restructuring or, restructuring your approach to the expectations that are on this committee from the town in terms of the event planning? So I say that to say that you don't have to rush that. But if you all feel like there's a clear leader, and that person's ready to go, then I won't stop.
Would you be asking the interim to go for 3 months then?
1 month, 2 month break, and then a vote.
Yeah, you run one meeting, you maybe touch base with me a couple times over the summer, you open the September meeting, and then you're done.
Dee, how much time do you spend outside of our meetings preparing things and going to other meetings?
Let me reframe that question. How much time should you be spending outside?
Plead the fifth.
But we need a realistic number per chair.
I mean, I don't know how to answer that question.
More than in the
Because-
past. I can say that, I think Charles and David would agree with me. The position of chair, permanent chair, has grown immensely over the last, I would say, since Dee had it and then when Sally had it, it really started to get larger and larger.
I would say, we've been really fortunate. It's not something that you do alone, though. You have a lot of help, and not to throw Jasmine under the bus here, but her guidance and help is tremendous. So
The other thing,
you
too-
do have a lot of help in the task.
Yeah. I think if you do this, though, Mr. Chair, you might want to just also appoint a vice chair for this interim. Because that would help the
Vice
chair
chair
out
too?
a lot. Yeah.
That's possible. We could have an interim chair and an interim vice chair. That's fine. If no one volunteers, I'm gonna volunteer someone.
Can I just
Everybody's
get a
just stuck.
clarification? So, because you're on the select board now, you have to leave this committee entirely. Is that,
I don't know if that's the requirement. I'm not sure.
oh,
I don't think I don't know if that's a requirement, if I have to, but I will.
okay, because I wasn't
So-
reading, it was like,
Wasn't there somebody who
Yes.
was in HR?
Yes, I don't know about this.
I wasn't sure if it was required.
Yes, but legally, I think it would not make sense that I stay on the committee because we are appointed by the select board, so I can't appoint myself. That, I'm not a lawyer, but I
Heard that a lot on TV.
I'm trying to play one on TV, but that's not gonna go very well. Yes,
Steve, would they consider you the select board representative to this committee? Like
That-
some of the other committees in
so the
town?
question was, will I be the select board liaison to this committee? That is entirely up to the select board and the chair. And the chair who appoints people to different, subcommittees, so I don't know. I don't know what the rules are, I don't know how those appointments are made,
And I
but
know
we'll
you
figure it
consider
out.
with your background, who would be more qualified to be the select board representative. I'm not, that's it. I'm not.
We'll
I
figure
would-
it out.
I would also name, we will definitely cross that bridge when we come to it. I also want to name, by now you know some of the buzzwords that I use, but that capacity building piece of, we have seen Dutrichet's leadership, and we know where he stands, and we know we have that support. I do think this is a beautiful opportunity for the committee to think about who is the incoming leader, and also think about, if we already know where Dutrichet stands, there's an opportunity here with an open select board liaison seat to pull someone else in too and have them engaged in the conversation as well. So just thinking about the more we can spread the wealth of this labor, the happier I will be. But I think the happier we would be as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of future and structural conversations to be had, which we will take as they come.
David Mills will not be running again when his term is up. So we're going to need somebody from the select board to,
Well, we need
Take over
somebody
then,
from
too.
the select board next week. So,
Yeah.
we're not even thinking about next year yet, because the new select board was seated last Thursday, so they'll have to rearrange their different liaison to different committees within the town at next Tuesday meeting. Well, I would nominate Paul to be our interim chair.
That was really quick, Charlie.
Yeah, we need.
Amazing how you know where your friends are.
Hey, they already threw me under the bus.
Is there any other nominations?
No.
Because
I would gladly step back if there are other nominations.
anybody, any other nominations? Yeah, none? Okay. Well, so, yeah, I think we'll do it. Now we should proceed and do a vote to have Paul be our interim chair. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? None? Okay, unanimous, Paul.
I'm going to say something a little bit personal. It's been a great day for me. I was also elected to my high school Hall of Fame.
They knew.
I hate to tell you how many years it took to get me in it.
Now you can add HRIC chair to the list of
Was it for
accomplishments.
art? Was it the Art Hall of Fame?
That's right. How about, well, thank you, I'll accept that, but now could we address the vice chair issue?
Can I say something?
Yes.
Can we have co-chairs, which would also spread the work and not have all of that, Jasmine is talking about capacity here, and I know how engaged Dee is in the community, and even as the chair of this committee, he went to every Danvers Cares meeting, he did a lot. So I think having co-chairs might be helpful than having a chair and a vice chair to sort of share that load.
Yeah, I know that's something that we talk about last time, and again, that will be for this committee to decide when you actually have a chair. I think my suggestion will be to maybe have a co-vice chair, because I think it's important to have a chair that will be the voice of the committee, or that will really represent the committee, and then we can have a vice chair and a co-vice chair. That way, the line of succession is there, but at least we still have that person that will be working with the town and things like that. So I think that would be my recommendation, to have a chair, a vice chair, and a co-vice chair.
Well, as the, I guess it's acting chair from the end of this meeting, I would like to see 2 vice chairs also. And I would like to ask a question. I know a little bit about Robert's rules, but if we had 2 vice chairs and then I wanted to talk to those two folks about something, or agenda, or anything, and I want to have a cup of coffee somewhere with them, is that illegal to have 3?
No. You can have up to 5 on this committee.
Okay.
And it doesn't mean, I've been studying this because I was told I have to.
Yeah.
I have a book if you want it.
So you can be in the same space,
Right.
all of us, anytime. That's not a violation.
Right.
I think the violation occurs only when we matters. So,
Something needs to be voted on.
exactly.
Correct.
Okay.
So, but if you have to talk to 5 people, you're fine. But the 4 other people plus you.
Yeah.
But when you get to 6, that's when.
I just don't want to put the committee in a
So
situation.
yes, you can speak to the 2 vice chair with no problem.
Okay.
And if anything you're concerned about in that scenario, you just ask me to,
You're going to hear from me.
don't worry, I'll know when to volley it back,
Just
so
don't
you'll
volley on
learn,
anything
like,
and
we'll
then-
figure it out.
Yeah,
We
we'll do
can't
it.
catch you.
So are we good? I know- But do we do the vice chair and the co-vice chair when we elect the chair? Is that okay?
Well, I don't know, because I'm listening to what Jasmine's saying, and if we're gonna elect the chair, full-time chair, at the end of June, I would say, yes, absolutely, do a vice chair and a co-vice chair, if that's what you'd want. But if you're not gonna elect the permanent chair at the end of June, you're gonna carry it on through July and August, which means, you know, then I would personally like to have a vice chair and a co-chair going in to the summer. I'll do whatever you want me to do, but I should take that back. But
No,
I,
no,
you
it's
know,
on
we'll see
record.
what the committee wants to do in June.
So do we want to have an interim vice chair? And then that could work with Paul through September when,
Could I make a suggestion? Unless you really, I would like to have a vice chair, but if you're not comfortable with that at this point, I will stay on as chair through June, to June, with no vice chair. I think after that, then we're gonna have to look at it again. But I can, and you and I can talk too about a lot of things, which we already have. So,
definitely I'll make myself available.
yeah, I know you.
for the transition.
But I'm fine with it, except that I just don't wanna carry it out and then end up, something happens in town, you know, like things happen, you know, we've had incidents.
So anyone who wants to be interim vice chair?
Could I make a nomination?
Anybody's free.
Karen Griesdorf.
Oh, Paul, I appreciate that. I'm not currently available to serve. but
Okay.
Thank you.
Good suggestion. I would agree to.
Excuse me again, I'm very vocal tonight, but didn't Donna say that she would consider that? I think it's in
She
the
didn't want to be
minutes in the
chair,
last-
but I don't know on
last
vice
meeting,
chair.
She mentioned
So-
vice chair depending on the outcome of the recent election, I think.
I can confirm that, yes, and unfortunately, she had communicated that she couldn't be here this evening. You can also table this till the June meeting when she is present.
Okay,
Let's do that, okay.
yeah, thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, I think with that.
Thank you, our trusty note
I would
taker.
appreciate that.
Yes.
But
I'll give Donna a call for you.
I don't need any more help from anybody. I wanna go home.
No, I just want to make sure that she was on for,
Donna was elected chair of the library trustees.
That's
Yes.
right, that's
Yeah.
right.
that's one of the reasons she doesn't.
We've had some development.
Yes, she's a trustee.
Well, so we'll table that and
Okay.
that decision will be made at the June meeting. How about that? Anything else on this? I think.
I have a question about the open positions. Do we have any applicants that you know of?
No, so I have heard people are interested, and I've shared the application with those individuals, and I am hopeful. I strongly encourage all of you to start circling back to your friends in the community to be like, hey.
Two.
So there are, again, 2 open spots, and I think I've sent it to 3 people who've asked for it. But that recruitment really needs to come from you, because who am I? I don't even live here. But if you say, hey, neighbor, we got to do this together. There's no deadline. These applications are rolling, and so, you know, worst case scenario, if they're not filled by June, they just remain open until we can fill them. But it's a beautiful time, I think, to jump on this wave and ride it with us as we're transitioning, and it's exciting, the prospect of having some new faces.
you said we have 2 openings, does that include, is it, so,
Correct.
so it is 2, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions about that?
Do we have a fixed limit on how many people can be on?
11.
Dave,
What if we
did-
should
did-
look
did we-
into expanding that? I mean, we're looking for diversity.
Please don't make me manage more than 11 people. So keep in mind that we have an 11-person committee, and we have 4, 5 liaisons-ish, and that's a lot. And we have, am I counting myself? Yeah, so 4, maybe 5. So it is a large group to manage as it is. When it comes to some of those emergency voting meetings, trying to find that time is going to be challenging. But I also want to highlight that the volunteering looks like can take different forms, right? So we created this emeritus position. If there are people who have been on the committee for a long time and are thinking, I want to continue to support, but I don't need to be present at every meeting, I don't need to vote on everything, we have an emeritus option. If people are like, I don't want to take on I don't have capacity to be a voting member and meet every month and do that, we have our different planning teams when they form. We have community volunteers who can hop on for particular initiatives. So I do just want to re-highlight that there are different ways to be involved that don't require me sending emails to 20 people.
And not even that, I mean, one of the vacancies been vacant for 6 months now.
Oh my goodness,
So-
yeah.
Yes, so now we have to
Okay.
wait, so we are not, so there's not a swell of like applicants who are unable to get on per se, so. Yeah. Any other questions? Great, thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
We'll hold that one. Thanks,
New
Steve.
business, any new business? Well, I will start. I do have one item on the new business as it was said before, as I transition my role as the chair of the Human Rights and Inclusion Committee, I'm really filled with gratitude. I want to express my heartfelt thank to every one of you. Your dedication to our mission in promoting human rights and fostering inclusion within our community has been really inspiring to me. Together we've achieved so much over the years, creating events to bring the community together. We have continued to uphold and cherish old traditions like MLK, menorah lighting, pride events, while introducing some innovative and new ones. From the history of anti-Semitism film screening with the Lappin Foundation, to the inspiring visit of John Trumper Mulholland, from the Race Amity Day with Hidmere, to the vibrant celebration of Juneteenth, Celebration, Black History Month. We really strive to create a welcoming, inclusive, and thriving Danvers. And rest assured, I will continue to be involved and to promote that. I want to give a special thanks to my mentor and someone that I really look up to, Dr. Charlie. I met Dr. Charlie for the first time in 1998, for those of you who don't know. And he held my hands, paved the way for me. I've always looked up to him. His guidance, his mentorship is what has propelled me in everything that I've done throughout most of my adulthood. And he's impacted my life in ways he doesn't even know. And I just want to say thank you to Charlie. Thank you. Huge thanks to the volunteers who support our programs. Shilpa was talking about them earlier. Because without them, without those volunteers in the community, these programs don't happen. And to the residents of Danvers who elected me as one of their select board member, thank you. Thanks for your trust, your confidence in me. I'm humble for the opportunity, and I promise I will serve with integrity and make you proud. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone. I've grown as a person, I've grown as a leader, and I could not be prouder to have served alongside all of you, current and past members, like Sally Karen. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is a bittersweet thing for me because I cherish the work of this committee. I love it. I've enjoyed my time here. I'll be back on a chair up here on a different capacity, but rest assured I'll stay involved. So I just want to thank you very much. Any other new business?
How can we follow that? Great job. We know you'll do a good job, that's why we voted for you.
No, I should say something.
If you want to
Into
go
the
to the
mic.
mic, Dr. Charlie.
I don't need a mic, I mean, yeah.
For the audience.
Yeah, it's true that I've known Dee when he was a student at the University of Massachusetts, and he went into a master's program in education in the Teach Next Year program, and I met him, and I just knew that this was a young man that was destined to do great things. I just sensed it, his intensity, his intelligence, his humbleness, all of the things that when you work at the university, which I did for 31 years, you meet lots and lots of young people who go on to do great things. And I've met many students who have done that, but none of them has impressed me as much as Dee did when we met at the campus. It's only, fate that would bring you to Danvers, it would fate that would bring you to Maple Street Church. We both go to the same church. It's a strange synchronicity that's happened over the years. But I do think that you've been an unbelievable leader of this committee. I mean, your dedication, your commitment, the work that you've done. And I was going to say, the election, people vote against you because of what they think you are. People vote for you for what you do. And I think that to see what happened in Danvers with this election and how embraced you were by the people in this community to elevate you to the select board, which is in and of itself so significant. And I just think that I know that you're going to do a fantastic job, and I think everybody that's here and everyone that's listening and watching, all are behind you and will support you as you go forward in your work. So, and thank you for the very kind words. I really appreciate it. I really do take that to heart. Yeah.
New business. I will need a motion then.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? None, the motion carried. Thank you very much. Thank you, Danvers, and have a good night.